Okay, hey guys, and welcome to this part in the F1 Manager Minardi Manager Career Mode, where we're trying to take Minardi to be the best team around. And really, we've already won a race this season. That was at Imola. That was a fantastic race. Probably one of the most exciting we've had this entire series. This one could match it. It's Hockenheim. It's the home race for our engine supplier, Mercedes-Benz. And obviously, because we're the only team that uses Mercedes engines, weirdly, we've got a power advantage over the rest of the field. And because this track is so reliant on power, we could be doing alright for ourselves. As well as the fact that this is one of my favourite tracks ever in F1. This layout of Hockenheim, the old layout of Hockenheim, is one of my favourite tracks ever in F1. So, could be a good race. Anyway, let's just cut on and, well, let's see any news. Sponsor news, okie dokie. That's the thing with this part of the season. A lot of stuff has already been announced. There's not a great deal left to be announced, really. Okay, so we got a lot of sponsor news here. Anything that is actually interesting? I can't bother to look for the sponsor news, really. Is there any interesting? What about Benetton Sports Systems? Where are they? Does it mention Benetton Sports Systems? Okay, am I blind? Or do they really not mention it? I don't think they mention it. Okay, well... oh, new side pods and suspensions. Okay. I don't know whether these will be... whether these new ones will be manufactured in time, whether the fourth ones will be made in time. I don't think they will be. We've got 9 of the old models. Oh, hang on. Shit, what have I done? Hang on, what? Hang on. There you go, that's what I want to do. Make sure I'm making the new ones. Yeah, I don't think we'll have enough of these made in time for the Hockenheim race, but hopefully the race afterwards, which I think it's the Hungarian Grand Prix, hopefully we'll have these new side pods and suspensions ready to use for then. So let's see if there's anything interesting. We've had no interesting news so far. It's been complete. I mean, what a boring episode. Champion backs arrows. Again, I'm pretty sure that's not the first time we've seen that, but again, that's ironic because champion arrows are never going to be champions. I'm pretty sure I remember saying that. But there's seriously no confirmation as drivers, anything. Okay, rumours of Stefan Cesarin to BAR, or Stefan. I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyway. Rumours he'll be going to BAR. I can't remember what drivers BAR have announced, actually. I can't remember, actually. I think Fisichella is going to be driver 1 at BAR next year. I mean, obviously you can check in the description, but I'm pretty certain Villeneuve and Fisichella swap places, essentially, I think. That's what I remember. So, Cesarin could be a shock driver 2. Or no, or did they already announce their driver 2? I honestly can't really remember. Well, there was something about Patrick Lamarie. Wasn't he their driver 2, they said? I honestly can't remember, to be honest. The teams I'm focused on are Minardi, Jordan and Ferrari, because Jordan and Ferrari are going to be the big threats next year. Well, maybe McLaren, but I doubt it. Stuart confirms Massimo Cusimano. Well, that's a familiar face. Obviously, he was our commercial manager originally in '99, and he did a good job for us. Got us some very decent sponsors. Got us a PlayStation sponsor, obviously, which is one of our 2 title sponsors on the car. And that's really weird because Stuart, if I'm correct in saying Stuart next year, you can check in the description, but I'm pretty certain Stuart next year, they've announced as driver 1 Damon Hill and driver 2 Mika Salo. So basically they've got our driver lineup this year is what they've got next year. And better than that, they've now taken our old commercial manager. So basically I think Stuart are just trying to copy Minardi, because they've copied this year's driver lineup. I'm pretty certain anyway. They copied our old commercial manager, and to be fair, Massimo Cusimano was actually very good for us, so that's a very interesting announcement. Stuart are copying Minardi. When was that ever going to happen? I mean, that was not on the cards at all. Okay. Oh, wow, that's it. So there's literally one confirmation. Wow. Okay, get rid of these weekly reports. Anyway, yeah, German Grand Prix, I've already said, Engine Suppliers home race is going to be a fantastic race, I hope anyway, because it's one of my favourite tracks ever in F1. I'd probably say it's my favourite on this year's, on the 2000 calendar. I'd probably say it is my favourite track, if not second favourite, I'd say, behind Montreal. But anyway, I love the Hockenheim track. Should play to the strengths of the Minardi. Obviously, it's a power track, as well as the fact it's Hockenheim, it's in Germany. The tune at Mercedes know how to tune their engines for Hockenheim. Obviously, it's on their back door, essentially. So yeah, it could be a very interesting track for us. I'm very looking forward to it. Could it be our second win of the season? That is a stretch, but you never know. I'm looking forward to what could be one of the best races this season. Obviously, in the real life 2000 season, we had that nutter who walked along the track. That psycho. Anyway, yeah. So it was an interesting race in real life for one reason. Hopefully, it could be interesting right here, right now, for a completely different reason. Minardi's second ever win. That could be the case. Let's go and see for the Hockenheim Grand Prix. Okay, so here we are, and I said this race could be interesting, and already from practice it's shaping up to be interesting, and Michael Schumacher still dominant, which is a given, but Neil McEwen actually second, which we don't see all that often, despite the fact he's got the dominant car, actually came second. So Neil McEwen maybe, used to his track, he might be decent at his track, we might see him actually finish, score some more points. Physicality, it's weird how, despite the fact McLaren have got a Ford Zetec engine, which is woefully underpowered, he's still able to get third. Takaki pulled a performance which just came out of nowhere. I mean, he's ahead of Ralf Schumacher. Where even is Ralf? 15th! Okay, wow, Takaki is a threat, then it looks like. We're ahead of a Benetton, of a Lacey, and David Coulthard. Yeah, I mean, there's some weird results. Johnny Herbert's down 13th. And Barakella's away down. Well, actually, Jordan, the Heinz-Harald Frentzen Jordan being in 7th, that's again impressive for a Ford Zetec engine car. Because it seems to me, apart from Takaki, the Supertech engine cars aren't doing too well. And if you look, the Benettons aren't quite where they normally are. The Williams, well, I mean, Ralf Schumacher's way down. And the BARs. Well, Jacques Villeneuve's done not too bad, but Laurent Redon's not. Laurent Redon he's a failed driver, isn't he? I suppose. But anyway, yeah. So practice is eye-opening to say at least. There's definitely more pace to come from the Minardi. So let's see how we fare in qualifying. So the qualifying for the 2000 German Grand Prix around the legendary Hockenheim circuit has just ended, and there are some very interesting results here, so let's have a look at them. Michael Schumacher takes his 11th consecutive pole position, and every single pole position so far this season, with a lap time that put him over 2 seconds a lap quicker than his teammate Neil McEwen, who finished a very impressive second, considering Neil McEwen really hasn't been on the pace as to where he's seen him at other venues this season. So while the Germans are going wild for Michael Schumacher qualifying on pole, they'll also be going wild for Mika Salo, not because of him or because of the team, but because it's a Mercedes engine car in third. So the top three has got a German driver on top and a German engine car in third. And really, with Neil McEwen's inconsistency during the race, the Germans could be going wild with a German-dominated top two. Or in fact, maybe even a German-dominated top three, as Ralf Schumacher in the Williams qualifies fourth and shows that he is best of the rest, although on this occasion he isn't. He has proved on many occasions previously this season that he is the next quickest driver behind his brother. And if Ralf Schumacher fails to please the Germans, Damon Hill in the other Minardi with the other Mercedes-Benz engine car on the grid, and so is in a very good position to do well at tomorrow's race. Then in 6th is a car and driver that doesn't have any German connection at all, a Giancarlo Fisichella in the McLaren with the woefully underpowered Ford Zetec engine, so he's done very well considering the lack of power from his car. Both Benettons line up 7th and 8th with Coulthard on top, with the other McLaren of Johnny Herbert down in 9th. Then it's both Jordans with Barrichello on top of Frentzen, then the BAR with Jacques Villeneuve. Eddie Irvine is in 13th, ahead of the driver who impressed many this practice session, Takaki in 14th, and in fact Takaki is a way off the pace he did set in practice, which is very odd. Laurent Redon improved on his practice pace to be 15th, and is ahead of the struggling Jarno Trulli in the struggling Stewart. Alexander Wirtz is 17th, with both Prost of Zonta and Diniz 18th and 19th respectively. Zanardi and the other Sauber is 20th, then both Arrows with their woefully underpowered Arrows engine, which produces so much less power than all of the other engines seen on the grid, including the Ford Zetec one, understandably line up 21st and 22nd. Okay, so hey guys, so that was the qualifying, a very interesting qualifying, but also a very promising qualifying, because when you think about it, Michael Schumacher's going to win unless he retires, and if he does retire, Neil McEwen's all over the place with his pace, it's hilarious, so we should be ahead of him, so as long as we can fend off Ralf Schumacher, we could actually win, as long as we don't retire ourselves, but that's all we're relying on really, is Michael Schumacher to retire, and as long as Ralf Schumacher stays away, and I suppose the other threat would be David Coulthard, because David Coulthard has been very quick this season, and in Spain I think he won, so David Coulthard is definitely a threat to be reckoned with, even though Jean Alesi isn't, which is weird. And I don't see any other major threat unless the Jordans somehow claw their way up the field, because they underperformed in qualifying. Because we've seen them, they have been blistering this season. And Imola obviously stands out to mind. Anyway, I've done the fuel strategy, I calculated the fuel up myself. I think Mike Gascoigne wanted to put in about 100 litres of fuel at the start, and I'm like, well, no. Why would I do that? I've put in a bit of excess, obviously, just to be sure, but it's still much lighter than Mike Gascoigne was going to make the cars originally. But anyway, let's head on to what's not the most anticipated race, but one of the races I've been looking forward to the most. Other than Imola and Nürburgring, this is the race I've been looking forward to the most. So there you go, both Minardis, both Ferraris, there's the McLaren there, the Williams of Ralf Schumacher will be nearby, and we got off to a... What? That Benetton almost went through us. Okay, Jean Alesi Jean Alesi, did they get ahead of that McLaren? Is that Fisichella? I think that is. I think Jean Alesi actually passed Fisichella off the start. And now obviously this is the first of the many long straights where surely the Minardis, we can use our power to pull out. And there you go, we're actually alongside Neil McEwen then. That'd be Mika Salo, and Ralf Schumacher's bearing down on us. Neil McEwen has actually kept his second place, but we were right alongside him there. So surely that shows we've got the straight line speed. I mean, the Ferrari engine isn't actually... The Ferrari engine hasn't got that much of a power deficit to the Mercedes engine, but it still has a small power deficit anyway. So really, we should be able to pass them on the straights. But then again, I suppose Ferrari have got better aero, and aero can link to straight line speed, so I don't know, it's impossible to call. But I think one thing we can safely say is unless Michael Schumacher retires, he is going to win. Where's Damon Hill in all of this? I haven't really seen much about him. There's Takaki. Is he behind the Stewart? That is a Stewart, yes. Takaki had a really poor qualifying. Don't know what happened to him. Considering he's quicker than us in practice. I mean, where did that go? Damon Hill was behind the McLaren. Okay, I just saw him there. He's looking at Jean Alesi's. So Damon Hill's ahead of both Benettons, which is good because he's ahead of David Coulthard, but he's behind Fisichella. Okay, God, what's going on here? Is that... Oh, I can't really see. No, Damon Hill... I really cannot tell what's going on. Damon Hill's in 6th. Yes, he's lost a place to Fisichella. We didn't tell our guys to push off the start. I'll do that once I've stopped looking at this. Okay, so is that Neil McEwen's pulled off into the distance? From Salo. No, yeah, from Salo. That is worrying. We'll tell both our guys to push for the next few laps, I'd say. So also we got, obviously, fend off Ralf Schumacher, who has been blisteringly quick this season. I mean, apart from Michael, he has been the quickest guy. I don't think the driver's table actually reflects that, but if you look at his race pace and quali pace, Damon Hill's got past Ralf Schumacher, okay. And we're actually maintaining a gap to Neil McEwen, but obviously, as soon as we tell our guys to hold position again, which I'm going to now, you know, actually, well, this track does have quite a high retirement rate. I'm pretty certain last season, Marc Genet finished 8th. I think that's one of the best opportunities he had in scoring points the whole season. And Damon Hill, this is, well, if he finishes here, it'll be his best finish of the season for us. Well, you know, it'll be his best finish with us and the best finish all season. And Michael, Rünsberg, Keller's retired, Genet's retired. Oh no, that's disappointing. And when he finished 8th last year for us, or was it 7th? I think it was 8th. I don't know. Trulli is the unluckiest guy in the grid. When he don't score a point with Prost, goes to Stewart. Stewart was doing alright. As soon as he goes to Stewart goes downhill. Has another engine failure. I swear he's had loads of them. And now Ralf Schumacher's actually got past Damon Hill. Is he catching up to Sarlo? It's a 15-second. He is slowly catching up to Sarlo. About half a second a lap, I'd say. Della Rosa's retired with a driver error. Fisichella's out with a driver error. And that's another driver error from a McLaren driver. I mean, I do not understand what's going on with that McLaren team. Damon Hill's going down in the world. Mika Salo is. Is that a pit for Mika Salo? I don't know. Actually, one thing I've never ever checked. Pit stop times, yes. I literally realised this not that long ago, and I thought if I'd check it. Minardi pit crew actually servicing our cars pretty well, actually. I don't know whether the technical director actually impacts how quick your pit stops are. Obviously, the amount of fuel you put in obviously will, but I wonder whether technical directors quicken that. I don't know, it's just something I never really thought of until just before recording this episode. But Damon Hill, 4th quickest guy to be serviced, and Mika Salo, slightly slower from the Minardi pit crew there. Any retirements? No. Ralf Schumacher's ahead. Ralf Schumacher is very quick. We might be able to challenge him, but it's... I don't know. I don't want to risk a retirement, especially as we're in a double points finishing position. I really don't want to risk a retirement. And Ralf Schumacher, he'll be tough to match anyway. David Coulthard's behind. Yeah. Now, he's the other driver who worries me. So, David Coulthard, 24 seconds behind. Okay, he's way behind at the minute. But, you know, David Coulthard, he's been electric this season. So, okay, no, I think our speed to David Coulthard is pretty comparable. And there hasn't been that many retirements. I'm pretty certain last season there were a load of retirements. We got another one, engine failure from a Sauber. Herbert's got past Coulthard, okay. Oh, that's Minardi with the engine failure. Okay, we got another one, suspension failure, Pedro Diniz. Michael Schumacher, what's happened to him? What's happened to Michael? I can't see him. Engine failure from the... Oh, Ferrari engine failure. Okay. Heinz-Harald Frentzen had a driver error. Okay. Right. Well, this race win is ever so slightly plausible. And you know what? I wrote off Neil McEwen because in the race, his race pace has been all over the place. But you know what? Hockenheim is the one track which he's been able to be consistent at and actually be very quick. He's a lap ahead of Ralf Schumacher. Are we only a second behind Ralf? Oh, yes we are. Okay. Ralph's being held up by Takaki. I'm pretty certain that is. Where's Ralf Schumacher? Where is he? Well, there's Takaki. Okay, not really held up, but I don't think Takaki is doing his teammate many favours there. Is Takaki going to get out of the way? Probably won't. I mean, Takaki is a bit of a nutcase. As we've seen this series, I mean, he's a loose cannon, really. Actually, so's Ralf Schumacher, really. In the game and in real life, Ralf Schumacher's a loose cannon. Is that Ferrari behind us? Is that Neil McEwen going to lap us? And look, Takaki is holding up Ralf Schumacher. No, not anymore. Okay, he obviously would have got the word to not hold up his teammate anymore. Okay. Are we going to get past Takaki? Yeah, Salo got past Takaki easily. Okay. Is Kaki actually respecting the blue flag? So that's what I like to see. Is it worth... It's not really worth Damon Hill putting him on push. He's nowhere near anyone. He won't catch up to Sarlo. I don't think Herbert is catching him up. Well, not quickly enough anyway. Well, part of the fact he's catching up a lot. I'll worry about that. Okay, we'll put Sarlo on push for a while. He's got past Ralf Schumacher. Has he built up a bit of a gap? No, he hasn't. We'll let him build up a bit of a gap. That's 3 seconds. Are we really that much? Wow. Okay, so when we tell our drivers to push, we really have got a massive performance. We'll tell him to push for one more lap. Just don't really want to risk. Okay, did it actually advance a lap there? Now it has. Okay. We'll tell him to hold position. What's Damon Hill like? Herbert is catching him up. We'll tell Damon Hill to push for the next few laps. He might catch up to Ralf Schumacher if we're extremely lucky. Neil McEwen isn't going to retire, is he? Don't tell me Neil McEwen, the EA employee himself, is actually going to win a race. Okay, Damon Hill will tell him to push. Okay, what's going on here? That's a Ferrari. Is he going to try and unlap himself? I think Damon Hill's trying to... No, Mika Salo's trying to lap himself. Okay. In fact, let's have a look. This is a groundbreaking moment, really. This is Neil McEwen. He came into the sport as a rookie. He'd never driven a car before. Well, I mean, he was an EA employee. Ferrari took him up, and he's been... Is that Ralf Schumacher getting past Mika Salo in the distance? Oh, nah, Ralf Schumacher's putting up a threat, though. But Neil McEwen, as I was saying, he's an EA employee. He came to the sport with no motor racing experience at all. Comes in, he's been rubbish all season. I think he scored 2 points in Australia, and I think he scored 2 points last race. And now, he's been second consistently all race. He's finally been able to utilise the Ferrari dominance. And I think he's actually, thanks to Schumacher retiring, going to win the Hockenheim Grand Prix. I mean, against all odds, really. And now, I just don't believe what I'm seeing. That's really weird. I mean, I'm surprised, you know, normally it's Ferrari tradition to give, you know, the driver, you know, Schumacher's teammates the unreliable car, but it turns out Michael Schumacher's been given the unreliable engine, and Neil McEwen has been given the car which has worked perfectly for 45 laps. So the guy who's got no motorsport racing experience at all, as a former EA employee, comes down the final corner against all odds and all expectations to win the German Grand Prix against his entire form, which we've seen the rest of the season, which has been shocking compared to now. Wow. And that's not really, that's not all we got to worry about. We've also got to worry about Ralf Schumacher making a move on Mika Salo. We're going to have to tell Mika Salo to push. Come on, push, man, before Ralf passes you. I don't get, I mean, I know Ralf Schumacher's got slipstream on his side, but how can... Is that the phone? Oh, the phone's ringing. I don't know if you can hear that. It's ruining this epic moment, really. But Ralf Schumacher's got past us. Okay. I want to get second. If we can get second by the Ferrari this series, that would be insane. Because, I mean, we never get... I mean, Minardi... Okay, I was just listening to the phone then. But yeah, Minardi, we've never been this close to Ferrari in terms of, like, on-track position. Oh, I think Ralf Schumacher's secured it. I think he has. I'm going to tell him to risk everything. I've never done this in a race before, but we're going to tell I keep on saying Damon Hill. We're going to tell Mika Salo to risk everything. How's Ralf Schumacher put out such a gap? How has he done that? I don't get it. I mean, we've got the quicker engine. Sure, the Williams has got better aero, and Ralf Schumacher is arguably a slightly better driver, but still, how's he doing that? Okay, we're catching up ever so slightly on him, but we're not going to do it, are we? Ralf Schumacher's actually going to come out ahead, isn't he? Where is he? He's going to do it. Where's Mika Salo? He's going to do it. So Ralf Schumacher snatched Minardi's second place away from us. Sure, Minardi we won before, but... God. That's how close. Assuming Neil McEwen retired, that's how close we would have been to Minardi's second win. About a second off. That's Oh, Ralf Schumacher's taken second. That's brilliant for him. Ricciardo third. Damon Hill hopefully will take fourth. Oh, Johnny Herbert's right behind him. Right, we've got to tell Damon Hill to push. Okay, where's... Oh, Johnny Herbert really is putting up a threat. The McLaren's finally become good at a track which you'd assume they would have no pace whatsoever. It's a track where McLaren have finally actually become half decent. And there's also a Benetton looking to pass Damon Hill. So Damon Hill has been holding up a train for this last period. No! Oh my god, Johnny Herbert on the line past Damon Hill. A 10th in it. Oh my god. So, how did Johnny Herbert pass Damon Hill at the line? We've got a quicker engine. How did Johnny Herbert outpower us? Must have got better traction out of the last corner. Damon Hill, I mean, that sums up his season, doesn't it? He was doing alright, but he just lets chances go. He just... Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think that sums up Damon Hill really perfectly. I mean, not him, you know, just his performance this season, that sums it up well. He's had a chance, didn't make the most of it, and then he just let it slip right at the end. Well, David Coulthard got 6th, that's pretty impressive for him. Okay, let's run through the results. So, actually this track didn't have quite a high retirement rate as I remember it doing. But anyway, Neil McEwen amazingly wins the Hockenheim Grand Prix against all expectations and all previous form. Ralf Schumacher second, snatches second away from Ricciardo in third. Then you got Johnny Herbert in fourth, who snatched fourth place away from Damon Hill. And I'm happy for the McLaren team because McLaren have finally come good, but I'm not happy because obviously it's taken points away from us, prize money away from us. It's made Damon Hill look bad and really... it's one Brit for another. Actually, the Brits have taken 4th, 5th and 6th. Well, I mean, Brits. Well, yeah, Brits. I was going to say... it doesn't really matter. The Brits have taken 4th, 5th, 6th. That's quite good. I'd quite like to see it. Actually, Neil McEwen. British winner. Oh, the Germans aren't going to like that. Wow, okay, this looked so promising for the Germans, you know, in terms of German driver going to win. But no, we've got a German driver second and a German engine third and fifth, but British winner and British 4th, 5th, 6th. Wow. Okay, that's all the British drivers, isn't it, on the grid? That's been the best day for British drivers ever on this game, surely, well, this season, surely. In terms of collectively, wow, that's quite impressive. Anyway, I'm going to stop analysing that, because Neil McEwen, what a lad. Actually won a race. Actually was consistent, had consistent race pace. Which, because if you, in races, like, sometimes he'll be second, then he'll be like 10th, then he'll be 16th, then he'll be 7th, then he'll be 1st. He's mad. But this race, no, was consistently second, and once Schumacher retired, consistently 1st. So Neil McEwen, wow. I don't know whether that's earned him a spot for next season. There's not many left. I think most of them have been confirmed. I don't think there are many spots left for next season. But I don't know whether that's confirmed his place at any team next season. I don't know. Might get a test driver role after that win. And to be fair, he's got as many race wins as so many decent drivers. Think like Jean Alesi. Now, officially, Neil McEwen has got as many race wins as Jean Alesi. I mean, well, there you go. Ferrari have the most match chassis. It says nothing about. It says awesome. It just says basically that Minardi and Ferrari joint have the most advanced Arrows parts, but yet McLaren and Williams were able to snatch victories away from us when it seemed logically like they couldn't. Okay, nice one. Stefano Domenicali, he'll be happy because we got 1.8 million prize money from the FIA. Been a pretty fruitful day, I suppose, or pretty fruitful weekend for Minardi. Yeah, next race, Hungary. Wow, that's yeah, that's a very different track. Yeah, very different to Hockenheim. Don't know how well that will fare us, but then again, I mean, we thought Hockenheim was going to play into our hands very nicely, and it ends up at the last minute, it didn't. Okay, that could be an interesting race. Drivers' Championship, Ralf Schumacher second, yeah, that reflects him being best of the rest. Salo third, he's ahead of David Coulthard, that's quite impressive. Damon Hill's way down. Neil McEwen has finally overtaken Damon Hill. Wow, it's about time considering he's in a Ferrari, a dominant Ferrari. And constructors, Minardi a third, okay, that's brilliant. Ferrari, well, I mean, Ferrari are now way ahead. I mean, they've always been ahead, they've always been leading. But now, because Neil McEwen has actually finally contributed to the points tally, Ferrari are now storming ahead. Williams in third, Minardi, we aren't too far behind actually. And ahead of Jordan, Benetton, McLaren. Beer are kind of in a league of their own, and then Stewart, Prost and Sauber battling out for scraps. Arrows started scored anything this season. Well, manager ratings. Sean Todd first, I mean, okay. He spotted a rare, young, unseen talent in Neil McEwen. And I guess that earns him manager points, I guess. I mean, Neil McEwen must have been pretty cheap to sign as well, so probably the cheapest win ever for Ferrari, to be honest. And then Frank Williams, yeah, fair enough. Why Ron Dennis? Ron Dennis's manager rating should have gone up. I mean, McLaren have improved in comparison to where they have been this season. Got a 4th place. Should be higher. Anyway, yep, so next race will be the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to it. God, that race was mad, wasn't it? I can't get over the German Grand Prix. Not quite as mad as the F1 2015 race I just did. Well, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I'll put a YouTube card to it or a link in the description to the F1 2015 race I did around Monaco, because that really was the craziest race I've ever seen. As you can see, we're still behind Carlos Sainz now. As I said, we're going so much faster than him because his tyres are 28 laps old. He hasn't come in since the end of lap 1, and they just won't let us through, which is weird because you'd assume he would just pit again or let us through. And we do shove him into the wall there in Mirabeau, and really, it's an aggressive move, but at the end of the day, he should have let us through. And now Sainz is holding up Merry, believe it or not. And as you can see, Merry, Merry's got fed up of Sainz and just shoves him into the wall there. This one was, it was pretty crazy in comparison to that Monaco race, but really, I'm going to stop plugging my F1 2015 series. I'm basically just going to say make sure you watch it, or at least that race alone, because it was a fantastic race. But anyway, I'm going to stop plugging that. Next race in this season, or this series, will be the Hungarian Grand Prix. Shouldn't really play to our strengths, especially as we seem to be lacking in I don't really know if we're lacking in aero, but definitely in terms of the chassis we really are, and this is quite chassis reliant and tyre reliant. Obviously Damon Hill damn nearly won in 97 in an Arrows, which had, I can't remember what tyres supply they had, but it was a dominant tyre supply from what I remember. Well, not dominant, but around that track anyway, they were dominant. I don't really know. Damon Hill damn nearly won in an Arrows in 97, so surely he should logically be able to coax a win in a Minardi. I don't know, but anyway, we'll see for the Hungarian Grand Prix next time. So I'll see you then.